So, clicked on this video, you are probably someone who is a writer, who works shifts, who is finding it incredibly hard to manage both worlds, shall we say, your writing life, your side hustle, and your real job that you have to go to, unfortunately. But I can tell you now that I do both. Not well, but I try. I try really hard to manage both worlds. I've got some tricks and tips that I think will help. I can relate to you, honey, because I work all hours of the day, potentially. Night shifts, day shifts, evening shifts, super late shifts. So I can relate to you 110%. It is incredibly hard to write when you have shifts because everybody says,
set up a routine.
How do I make a routine when I wake up at different hours every single day? It's real hard. My first tip is, so when you're on an early shift, try and write the same time that you would every early shift. So for example, for me, I'll get home about 3:30 and I will try and write from anywhere between 3:30 and 4, starting till about 6-7 o'clock. So I try to keep that the same. I try and write during that time, and that is my writing time. If I do a late shift, I will do it in the morning. If I do a night shift, I will wake up an hour early and do it then. So every shift that you do, try and keep that time that you write exactly the same each time. It's not the same as having a dedicated slot that you write every day, which is 100 times better to do, but because we can't do that, it's like the second best option. Try and work out when is best for you and your lifestyle to do that. It's tricky, but I think if you can dedicate at least an hour a day, wherever that hour may fall, it's the best in the long run. So now you've picked the time that you're writing on the certain day that you're writing, I need you to do something for me. I need you to cast out the demon, cast out the devil, which follows you around every day of your life that you can't get rid of. And you come home, turn it off. Turn it off, because the amount of time I've come home from work and I'm tired and I just think I'll give myself 5 minutes to just go on YouTube, go on Twitter to do something, and honey, it ends up being 2 hours and you go, where has my time gone? That thing in your pocket
is the devil that is sucking out your life force.
Am I being dramatic? 1,000,000%. But I am
single AF.
So I can't turn my phone off for 3 hours, so I know that people will say, well, I've got kids, I've got a partner, and I need to do all this stuff, I can't just turn my phone off. Talk to the people in your life, say, don't contact me between these times, turn it on silent, put it in another room if you can, or just make it so it's calls only. So if something important and people call you, you can hear it, but try and keep it away from you. There'll be resistance when you're writing because you're tired anyway, you've had a hard day at work, or you're going to go to work, so there's kind of resistance. And if you fall into the trap of having your phone there, you will use it. I speak from experience, I always do. So I turn it off and it's not even an option for me to use anymore. If possible, again, I know everyone's circumstances are different, but set up a writing space. I have a small little desk in my room which is right next to me, and that is where I write. So there's psychology behind habits, and if you do something in the same place, it encourages your brain to do that thingy to help form that habit. If it's always set up the same, if you've always got the thing you need there, it will make life easier. If you've got to come home, set up a computer or set up what you're doing, it's harder. Whereas if everything's just there and you've just got to sit down and go, it makes everything easier. But again, I understand that some people just can't do that. This piece of advice is kind of contrast to the first piece of advice, so they kind of don't work together, but I'm just trying to be helpful for different types of people who have different types of learning styles and everything. So if you know within your heart of hearts that you can write in the morning and that is all you can do and you can never write any other time, fair enough, you've tried it, you need to work out what kind of writer you are. If that is the only time you can write, it's the only time you can write. But what I want you to do is when you do come home at these different times, rather than just sitting and not writing anything, try and just do some world building or some character exercises, so you're still in that habit of working on your stuff, even if you're not actively adding words to your work in progress. That I think is really useful to do. If you know you can't write at any other time apart from that early slot that you get, then try just to add stuff. Try to do something that's a little less, I'd say, mentally taxing, because it's interesting to write world details, it's interesting to do that kind of stuff, and you're not panicking about that doesn't sound right, that doesn't sound right. You're just working out details which might make your time that you do have to actually write more productive, because you'll know more about the characters, you'll know more about the world, and things will just run a bit smoother. I want you, for the next piece of advice, what I would say is to be reasonable with yourself. Set reasonable but challenging goals. So if you only have half an hour a day and that half an hour moves about all the time, be reasonable. How much can you actually get done in half an hour? You know, maybe you make it 400 words, which isn't You say it's not a lot, it's I'm not doing well, but as long as you do it every day or when the time allows that you can do it. So if you can only do 400 words a day, you can only do 400 words a day, but that is fine. Just keep the habit going. That is more important than the word count that you get each day. Just try and turn up every day to write. That is what's going to be more useful to your process. That is what's going to be more useful to your manuscript. It's just you turning up every day to do something. So be reasonable with yourself. Set a goal that's challenging but also reasonable, because there's a science behind if you keep setting goals and failing, you'll just stop turning up. It's bad. But if you set goals that you can achieve, you get that endorphin rush. Psychologically, you'll keep coming back to your computer or wherever you write to keep writing, because you will get that endorphin rush from achieving the goals you set yourself. So just be reasonable, be kind. This bit is more something I learned the hard way. Keep your Bible organized. Keep your Bible together. If you don't know what I mean by Bible, a Bible is something that writers have that have all the information about their world, about their characters, about that kind of stuff that they're doing. Whatever that is to you, if it's a Word document, if it's a spreadsheet, whatever it is, if it's a scrapbook, keep it organized, because you will get to a time when you sit down to write something and you'll say, Susan looked into Sarah's, and then you'll stop and go, was it brown? Was it green? Was it blue eyes? And you don't know, you can't remember. And rather than just putting ... and moving on, you won't. I know you, I know me. We don't move on. We need to know what colour those eyes are, and you will spend the next hour looking through reams and reams of papers to find her eye colour. Don't do that. Have your Bible organised so it's either a couple of clicks or a couple of turns of a page, and you know. That's a 30-second delay rather than an hour delay, and then you can quickly get back into writing. Trust me, it's a nightmare when you don't know a certain detail about a character because you feel like you can't move on. And this is just bonus tip, super basic bonus tip. If you really are finding it hard to write, half an hour is all you got and you can't do anything else, I would try doing sprints. I think sprints are really good because you're setting yourself an actual goal and a challenge, and it's not about word count, it's not about getting all this detail out, it's just about, right, okay, I've got half an hour, write as quick as I can, and you will just get stuff out and it'll be helpful, that you're progressing in your story, and it'll just make your writing process feel better. So if you really can't do anything else that I've suggested, just try to do writing sprints and it'll just move everything along. Nice. Right, I hope this advice has helped you, and if you work shifts and also have advice for people, please comment it down below, because I want it. I imagine people down there want it. Let's start a conversation about the best tips and tricks we have for writing when you work shifts. Shifts are not fun. We need to not do them, please, but we're here. Unfortunately, we have to do them to make money. Bye.